So let's talk about blockchain. You hear that word everywhere, right? It's buzzing, it's promising to change, well, pretty much everything. But how do you actually get from a cool idea scribbled on a napkin to something that makes a real impact on a business? Today, we're going to cut through all that hype and give you a solid 4-step strategic roadmap to do exactly that.
But here's the thing, and it's kind of the elephant in the room. Most blockchain projects, they don't make it. They get stuck in the mud, they run out of cash, or they just plain fail to deliver on the promise. So the big question is, how do you make sure your project is one of the few that actually succeeds? Well, the answer might surprise you, because it has a lot less to do with the tech than you'd be.
That's right. It's not about the code, at least not at first. You see, real, lasting success comes from having a rock-solid business framework in place before you even think about writing a single line of code or spending a fortune on developers. Okay, so let's dive into the first crucial step.
And our first stop is easily the most important one, the crucial reality check. Think about it like this. You wouldn't just start throwing up walls for a new house without checking the land, getting the permits, and making sure that foundation is absolutely solid, right? Well, this is that essential groundwork for your blockchain idea.
Okay, this is where we have to be brutally honest with ourselves. These are your first pass filters. First, technical complexity. I mean, can this thing actually be built with today's technology, or is it still kind of science fiction? Then, user adoption. Will your partners and your actual customers, will they really use it? And what's it going to take to get them on board? And finally, the big one, the cost-benefit analysis. Is the potential payoff really truly worth the massive cost and effort? This is your tough love reality check.
All right, let's say your idea made it through that first tough screening. Awesome. But hold on, we're not hiring a huge dev team just yet. Now we move on to the small-scale test, the proof of concept. This is where you build a small, working model to test your blueprint without, committing to the full, super expensive construction project. So what in the world is a proof of concept, or a POC? Well, think of it like a mini science experiment. It's a small, super controlled project designed to test the single most critical assumption of your entire idea. And the goal here is absolutely not perfection. The goal is learning. You're just trying to find out, cheaply and quickly, if the very heart of your idea can even work before you bet the farm on it. And to make sure you get clear answers, a strong POC needs these 4 things. First, you have to define a really narrow scope, like laser-focused. Don't try to boil the ocean here. Second, you set crystal clear success metrics. How will you know if you've won? Third, a lean budget and a small team. Keep it scrappy. And fourth, a short, fixed timeline. Discipline is the name of the game here. Keep it small, keep it focused, and keep it measurable. That's how you get the answers you need. So let's imagine your POC was a roaring success. Fantastic. High fives all around. But now you've arrived at a major fork in the road, a critical strategic crossroads that every single project faces, and it has huge implications for your budget, your timeline, and how much control you have. It's the big one. Do you build it, buy it, or join something that already exists? And this right here lays out the fundamental trade-off. Building it yourself in-house? Sure, you get total control, you can customize every little feature, but wow, is it expensive and it takes a very, very long time. On the flip side, buying or joining an existing solution is way faster and cheaper to get started, but you give up control and you'll probably have to make some compromises. There is no single right answer. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The right choice depends entirely on your company's resources, timeline, and strategic goals. You've got to look inward at your own organization, your own bank account, and your long-term goals to figure out which path makes the most sense for you. And all of this brings us to our final phase, charting the full roadmap. This is where we connect all the dots we've talked about. It's where we create a clear, coherent plan that takes you from that tiny little test all the way to a full-scale solution. Let's take a look at how this builds. This roadmap brilliantly illustrates the path to success. You'll notice you don't just leap from idea to a massive launch. No way! You start with phase 1, that proof of concept, just to see if the core idea even has legs. If it does, then you move to phase 2, building a minimum viable product, or an MVP. Think of this as the most basic, bare-bones version you can actually give to a few early users to play with. And only after you get their feedback do you move on to phase 3, the full-scale deployment. See? Each phase is a deliberate step designed to minimize your risk. So let's boil this all down. What are the big takeaways from this whole roadmap? First, and this is the most important one, strategy first, technology second. Always. Second, test small with a proof of concept before you even think about investing big.
Third, make a conscious, deliberate choice about your path. Build, buy, or join. And finally, scale your project in careful, risk-reducing phases. Be strategic, be deliberate, and be realistic. So, we've laid out the map. We've shown you the key landmarks, the decision points, the whole journey from a simple blockchain idea to real-world business impact. So now, the question really is for you. You have the roadmap. What's the very first step on your journey